What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we just got a huge update from Call of Duty regarding Black Ops 7, and that is, they are walking back their decision to carry forward operators, operator skins, and weapons from Black Ops 6 into Black Ops 7. However, they did clarify they will still be carrying forward double XP tokens and Gobblegums. And also, as expected, carry forward will still be happening for Warzone, it just won't be happening for Black Ops 7. And this was done in response to massive community backlash. I've been mentioning this since the reveal, and I made a dedicated video a couple days ago. And as I've been saying, at least when it comes to specific things that were revealed, we're not talking about the bigger picture franchise things that are expected to be in the game. But as far as things that they specifically talked about in the reveal, this was the biggest sticking point that I was seeing within the community. And I just want to read out at least part of their statement here. They said, "We know there's been a lot of conversation recently about the identity of Call of Duty. Some of you have said we've drifted from what made Call of Duty unique in the first place. Immersive, intense, visceral, and in many ways grounded. That feedback hits home and we take it seriously. We hear you." And later on they did mention Black Ops 7 needs to feel authentic to Call of Duty and its setting. And overall, while this wasn't my preference for how they handled this situation, I still see this as a big win for many of us in the community that had the entire hype of the game basically ripped away from us the moment we heard about Carry Forward. Now, I do want to acknowledge on the other side of the fence, there were people that were excited for Carry Forward. They were happy to see that the items they paid money for would be carrying forward into the next Call of Duty game. And that's no longer happening for them. And that's why I say this wasn't the ideal way that I would have liked to see it handled. Instead, I would have liked a skin filter. So that would allow people to carry their items forward and use them, but it would also allow us on the other side to just turn those off on our end if we wanted to. To me, that would have been a win-win. You still would have had some people upset that they can't force us to look at the skins that they're using. But at least on their end, while playing the game, it would look 100% identical if that filter were available. So again, overall, I would have seen that as a win-win. Whereas in this case, it's just one side that's winning. Yes, I'm obviously happy that I'm on the side that's winning here. But again, I do acknowledge there is the other side of it. And this does raise one big question. That is, what happens to all of the skins that people paid for from the moment they announced Carry Forward would be happening until now? This is one element that I feel may be unfair because after announcing Carry Forward was going to be taking place, I'm sure there were many people out there that bought skins with that expectation in mind. And in that case, I think it's absolutely unfair to those people. And I'm not a lawyer, but likely bordering on what would be considered false advertising. Because they did straight up announce that these skins would be carrying forward, and therefore any purchases that were made at that point were made with the promise that those skins would also be available in Black Ops 7. They have reversed their position on that and therefore taken that value that they added away from that. So I do really hope they make things right for those people. I think they should be offering refunds for any skins purchased between the moment Carry Forward was announced last week and today when they announced that they're no longer doing Carry Forward, because that's absolutely unfair to those people. Either way, outside of that, like I said, I think this is a big win for Black Ops 7. I think it is going to restore a lot of the hype for many of the people that had their hype killed by the Carry Forward announcement last week. However, this is just one win, and a big thing this doesn't address is what we're going to be seeing in the future when it comes to the skins they bring to the game, because unless they state otherwise at any point, I fully expect them to get crazy with the skins as time goes on. Things are going to get wacky again. I really hope they learn from Black Ops 6 that there is a certain line that they probably shouldn't be crossing with how wacky things are getting. And I would love for them to stay true to the statement that Black Ops 7 needs to feel authentic to Call of Duty and its setting, but I'm not going to hold my breath on this. They do make a lot of money from the wacky skins. I'm sure they are going to be deviating from the general theme and tone of the game with their skins and probably various crossovers that will happen throughout the year. I'm just happy that at the very least, it looks like it'll be a slow trickle of them over time, rather than the entire game being flooded with the most ridiculous skins we've seen in Call of Duty history all at once the moment Season 1 launches, likely just 2 or 3 weeks after the game launches. So we will, of course, have to see how things go with that. And another big thing, with this being a big win for many of us, it's not like the game is suddenly going to be perfect because it's not having Carry Forward. Yes, this has restored a lot of my interest and hype for Black Ops 7. I am very happy to see this, but it still doesn't address some of the bigger picture franchise-wide issues that have been pushing many people away from the franchise. Obviously, not everybody, but for many people, they've just been feeling burnout year after year with Call of Duty, and it's been getting worse and worse. And the usual big picture culprits here are things like disbanding lobbies, their modern SBMM system that feels way overtuned, and their anti-cheat system, which they did also acknowledge in this blog that they are continuing to work hard on fighting cheaters and they've got updates coming. They're going to be trying out some new systems within the beta for Black Ops 7. But we've heard all of that before, and on paper it might sound good. At the end of the day, it just comes down to how well it works in practice. But I just wanted to make sure there was some balance to this video and it's not just a complete overhype like now the game's suddenly going to be perfect. I'm sure there will still be issues and some big picture things that just won't be getting addressed. But I definitely consider this decision to be a big win, and it has restored a lot of my interest in Black Ops 7. Now, in addition to all of this, in this blog post where they were talking about this, they've mentioned that a ton of feedback has already gone into Black Ops 7, and in the coming weeks, we're going to be hearing more directly from Treyarch. And they actually outlined some of the details we're going to be learning about in the coming weeks. So presumably this is all leading up to COD Next, which is going to be on September 30th. And for multiplayer, they said we're going to be getting additional info on maps, weapons, and systems. They're going to be providing more updates on how they've refined the movement in the game, which I know a lot of people are interested in. For many people, they really didn't like Omni movement, or at least the state Omni movement was in Black Ops 6, so they're upset to see that return, whereas people on the other side really like the Omni movement in Black Ops 6, and they don't want to see it nerfed too heavily, and it's kind of up in the air right now as to exactly where they've landed on that, so I'm curious to see more details there. And they also said they're going to be talking about what they're doing to ensure the core moment-to-moment gameplay experience takes a leap forward. And I am really curious to see what they mean by that, because everything we've seen so far with the reveal and all the little multiplayer clips we can see, well, I think a lot of that stuff looks great and like a Call of Duty game I want to play. Admittedly, I haven't really seen anything so far that looks like a massive innovation and a massive leap forward for the franchise. Instead, it just seems like they've really been refining things and listening to various bits of feedback to provide a better experience overall. So definitely curious to see what they mean by that. Then for zombies, there's going to be more info on launch content and the new Wonder Vehicle, details on the new Dark Aether version of the original crew, and a deeper dive into gameplay systems, including a new way to reward hardcore players. And then they just said more information as well, like progression, classic prestige, and weapon prestige, weekly challenges starting with Season 1, more ways to earn camos and in-game rewards, and finally, expanded gameplay content. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about this game, especially since my biggest Black Ops 7 focused complaint has been addressed. And this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. How are you feeling about this recent news that carry forward will now no longer be happening in Black Ops 7 outside of double XP tokens and Gobblegums? Are you guys happy with this news, upset about this news, kind of indifferent to it? Just let me know all of those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.